Even though there has been entertainment since before the wars, there has never been something quite like this. Vaudeville had circuses that regularly toured the country, dime museums, amusement parks, riverboats, and town halls, and often featured cleaner presentations of variety entertainment, while saloons, music halls, and burlesque houses, which was new to many people.
American vaudeville, more so than any other mass entertainment, grew out of the culture of incorporation that defined American life after the Civil War. It marked the start of the entertainment and mass business, shaping American entertainment and pop culture.
Because of the rise in entertainment, there was growth of white-collar workers and leisure time. This improved communications and transportations technologies within the pop culture world.
Americans enjoyed a time of unparalleled growth and urbanization, increasing diversity, and upward social mobility because of the help of vaudeville. It started to venture out of being risque and showed a diversity of performances and performers.
So the true American dream for the performers and people surrounding it. America gave people hope in a new way of life, which is exactly what America stood for. It gave people new opportunities, especially those who were social outcasts and unwelcome. Vaudeville helped Americans learn and accept different things and look at life and people a whole other way, helping people to bring different cultures together and gain acceptance.
Vaudeville also had some positive effects on racial equality. A black comedian through vaudeville became very well known and famous, helping bridge the gap for racial equality.
While vaudeville was known for entertainment, it did do many things for society, especially for the acceptance of the immigrants and racial equality. Many immigrants from Europe came to America and took a role in vaudeville performances and gained acceptance from those who watched them because they enjoyed the entertainment and helped them because they were more accepted by society.
The vaudeville shows was a way to educate the audiences and was a way to show the middle class how to act and what behavior was important, helping shape the way for Americans to act.
While vaudeville was helping show the middle class how to act, it also helped some in the middle class to move up on the social ladder. Because of their famous shows and means of entertainment, they gained great popularity and a rise in their social status. Some of these performers were the celebrities of the 1900s, and their shows became more and more popular, gaining social acceptance and a rise in their social standings.
Vaudeville did not only advance the welfare of minority groups, but also acted to define and refine the American middle class. While industrialization and urbanization expanded the working class, huge progress in the labor movement began to transform into the new middle class with time for leisure and money for spending.
Vaudeville was a variety of theatrical entertainment that was popular in the United States and Canada from the early 1880s to the early 1930s. It was one of the most popular types of entertainment in North America, and it played a big role in people's lives. It was a symbol of the cultural diversity in America during that time. The shows mostly appealed to the male audiences at first, but over time it changed to women and children too.
There were many performers made up in different acts. The acts varied from classical musicians, comedians, dancers, singers, magicians, trained animals, acrobats, impersonators, jugglers, illustrated songs, scenes from plays, minstrels, athletes, and movies. The performers are referred to as vaudevillians. The performers traveled from town to town to perform. A typical show consisted of 13 acts that were usually 6 to 15 minutes long.
Vaudeville appealed to all kinds of people, no matter what their class or ethnic group was. Those who were wealthy could purchase box seats, and those who were in working class could buy regular seats in the galleries. Certain performers also appealed to certain types of people more than others.
The performers had to follow some rules that were set for them. The acts weren't allowed to say certain things, and they had to be polite in order to cater to all types of audiences men, women, and kids. Words or phrases such as hell, son of a gun, slob, and holy G were not allowed to be said on stage. If things like this were said, performers would be canceled immediately. The sale of alcohol and vulgar material were banned from Tony Pastor's theater, who was the first one to create clean vaudeville.
B.F. Keith, a vaudeville theater owner, worked very hard at keeping his shows modest and appropriate for all audiences. If the act had something suggestive in their performance, they would receive a letter that would order them to keep that part out of their act, or sometimes it gave them a substitution for certain words. There were even signs backstage that read, "Lack of talent will be less open to censure than would be an insult to a patron. If you are in doubt as to the character of your act, consult the local manager before you go on stage, for if you are guilty of uttering anything sacrilegious, or even suggestive, you will be immediately closed and will never again be allowed in a theater where Mr. Keith is in authority.
Performers had to work very hard at touring for 40 weeks or more in a year. The acts had to deal with demanding schedules, but they did it because they could get a lot of money. The working conditions varied depending on where they were. Some dressing rooms were small and filthy. The quality of the music that was used could either be good or very bad.
There were different categories that the performers were in during vaudeville: small time, medium time, and big time. Small time acts performed in small town theaters or cheap rundown theaters in bigger towns. They made very little money each week. The theaters that they performed at were mostly for new performers. Medium time performers worked in cleaner theaters in better cities. This was the middle ground for performers. They were either making their way to the top or slowly descending back to the bottom. The big time performers worked in the best theaters in the best cities, usually performing twice a day. Big time performers made a lot of money.
Vaudeville eventually died out with the onset of radio and motion picture. It was slowly replaced by shows that people could have access to at home. Vaudeville made its mark on America, and it opened doors for many people. It made a bridge to fill the gap that America had made among itself and changed the lives of many people.